हेलो फ्रेंड्स, कैसे आप सभी लोग। वेलकम बैक टू अनदर वीडियो। आज हम पढ़ेंगे द बेगर चैप्टर, जो सीबीएसई क्लास 9 का है। और इसके ऑथर जो है वो है एंटोन चेकोव। ओके, मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ। अरे यार, ये हैंग हो रहा है। देखिए, एंटोन चेकोव। चलिए शुरू करते हैं। ऊपर चल। What induced the beggar Lashkov to change his ways? Let's read and find out. तो इसमें एक बेगर है जिसका नाम है लश्कॉफ, और एक मतलब बहुत अमीर टाइप का एक आदमी है, उसका नाम है सरजी। ठीक है, तो आगे पढ़ते हैं। देखिए क्या आता है इसके अंदर। काइंड सर, हैव पिटी, टर्न योर अटेंशन टू अ पुअर हंग्री मैन। फॉर 3 days I have had nothing to eat. I haven't 5 kopecks for a lodging. I swear before God, for 8 years I was a village school teacher, and then I lost my place through intrigues. I fell a victim to calumny. It has a year now since I have had anything to do. The advocate Sarji, वो सरजी जो है एक एडवोकेट है, वो एकदम अमीर टाइप का एक आदमी है। उसी के बारे में है। और ये इसमें इस पैराग्राफ में तो यही बोला है। जो लश्कॉफ है वो बोलता है कि मेरे ऊपर थोड़ा अटेंशन दे दो, मैं पुअर हंगरी मैन हूँ, मेरे पास 3 दिन से कुछ नहीं खाया। और मैं एक पहले एक 8 years के लिए विलेज स्कूल टीचर था, लेकिन अब मेरे पास वो भी नहीं है। तो ऐसे ही एडवोकेट को एकदम लगता है कि भाई ये क्या बोल रहा है ऐसे। तो आगे बढ़ते हैं। द एडवोकेट सर्जी लुक्ड एट द ragged, fawn-colored overcoat of the supplant, at his dull drunken eyes, at the red spot on either cheek, and it seemed to him as if he had his man somewhere before. तो जो एडवोकेट सरजी हैं उसने जो उन्होंने लश्कॉफ को देखा कि ये क्या, उनके तो उसके आईज थे वो एकदम ऐसे नींद में। ड्रंकन मैन था जो लश्कॉफ था, तो एकदम ड्रंकन आईज पे था वो, और रेड स्पॉट में था। I have now had an offer of a position in the province of Kaluga, the mendicant went on, but I haven't the money to get there. Help me kindly. I am ashamed to ask, but I am obliged to by circumstances. Sarzi's eyes fell on the man's ovations, one of which was high and other low, and he suddenly remembered something. Look here, it seems to me I met you the day before yesterday in South Street, he said, but you told me then that you were a student who had been expelled and not a village school teacher. Do you remember? No, no, that can't be so, mumbled the beggar, taken back. I am a village school teacher, and if you like, I can show you my papers. Have done with lying. You called yourself a student and even told me that you had been expelled for. Don't you remember? Sergi flushed and turned from ragged creature with an expression of disgust. This is dishonesty, my dear sir, I cried angrily. This is swindling. I shall send the police for you. Damn you, sir, he said, laying his hand on his heart. The fact is, I was lying. I am neither a student nor a school teacher. All that was a fiction. Formerly I sang in Russian choir, and I was sent away for drunkenness. But what else I can do? What else can I do? I can't get along without lying. No one will give me anything when I tell the truth. What can I do? What can you do? You ask what you can. तो जो सर जी वो खुद ही बोलते हैं कि पहले तो लश्कफ ने बोला मैं झूठ बोल रहा था आपसे। और जो सर जी ऐसे ही बोलता है लश्कफ को कि मैंने तुम्हें देखा था 2 दिन पहले वहां, तो तुम तब तो कुछ और थे, अब कुछ और हो। तब तब जो लश्कफ है वो अपने मतलब सच पे उतर आता है कि हाँ भाई, मैं झूठ बोल रहा था, बस ये फिक्शन वगैरह था। और मैं पहले एक रशियन कार में काम करता था, पर वहां से मैं निकल गया क्योंकि मैं ड्रंकनेस की आदत थी। तो जो सर जी हैं तो वो तो पहले लश्कॉफ सर जी से पूछता है कि अब बताओ मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ। तो सर जी बोलता है अब खुद से पूछो तुम क्या कर सकते हो, मैं क्या बताऊँ। Work, that's what you can do. You must work. Work? Yes, I know that myself, but where can I find a work? How would you like to chop wood for me? तो सर जी हैं वो लक्ष्य को ऑफर करते हैं कि क्या तुम मेरे लिए वुड चॉप करोगे, और लेकिन मैं तुम्हें मना नहीं करूंगा। I wouldn't refuse to do that, but in these days, even skilled woodcutters find themselves sitting without bread. Will you come and chop wood for me? Yes, sir, I will. Very well. I'll soon find out. Sergi hasn't long rubbing his hands. He called his cook out of the kitchen. Here, Olga said. The cook का एक नाम है Olga. तो उसने बोला, take this gentleman into the wood shed and let him chop wood. The scarecrow of the beggar shrugged his shoulders as if in perplexity and went irresolutely after the cook. It was obvious from his gut and that he had not consented to go and chop wood because he was hungry and wanted work, but simply from pride and shame, and because he had been trapped by his own words. It was obvious, too, that his strength had been undermined by vodka and that he was unhealthy and did not feel the slightest inclination for toil. Sergey hurried into the dining room. From its windows one could see the wood shed and everything that went on in the yard. Standing at the window, Sergey saw the cook and the beggar came out into the yard by the back door and made their way across the dirty snow to the shed. Olga glared wrathfully at her companion, shoved him aside with her elbow, unlocked the shed by and angrily banged the door. Next, he saw the studio teacher seat himself on a log and became lost in thought with his red cheeks resting on his fists. The woman flung down an axe at his feet, spat angrily, and judging from the expression of her lips, began to scold him. The beggar irresolutely pulled a billet of wood toward him, set it up between his feet, and tapped it feebly with an axe. The billet wobbled and fell down. The beggar again pulled it to him, blew on his freezing hands, and tapped it with his axe cautiously, as if afraid of hitting his overshoe or of cutting off his finger. The the stick of wood again fell to the ground. Sergei's anger had vanished, and he now began to feel a little sorry and ashamed of himself for having set a spoiled, drunken, perhaps sick man to work at manual labor in the cold. तो सरजी सोचता है कि मैं इतनी ठंड में इस ड्रंकन मैन को इतना कम काम करने को बोल रहा हूँ। वो उसको अपने ऊपर शर्म आती है। An hour later, Olga came in and announced that the wood had all been chopped. तो ओल्गा जो है वो थोड़ी देर के बाद बोलती है, एक घंटे बाद, कि सारे जो वुड्स थे वो सब चॉप हो गए। तो सरजी ओल्गा को बोलता है, गुड, गिव हिम a half ruble, said Sergi. If he wants, he can come back and cut wood on the first day of each month. We can always find work for him. तो जो सरजी है वो ओल्गा को बोलता है कि बहुत बढ़िया, क्या उसको एक हाफ रबल दे दो और उससे बोल दो कि जब भी वो चाहे एक फर्स्ट डे को आ जाए हर महीने के, हम उसके लिए काम निकाल के रखेंगे। On the first of every month, the wife made his appearance and again earned half a ruble. And although he could barely stand on his legs from that day on, he often appeared in the yard, and every time work was found for him. Now he would shovel snow, now put the wood shed in order, now beat the dust out of rugs and mattress. every time he received from 20 to 40 kopecks, and once even a pair of old trousers were sent up to him. When Sergei moved into another house, he hired him to help in the packing and hauling of the furniture. This time the wife was sober, gloomy, and silent. He hardly touched the furniture and walked behind the wagon, hanging his head, not even making a pretense of appearing busy. He only shivered in the cold and became embarrassed when he ca- jeered at him for his idleness, his feebleness, and his latter, tat, and his tattered, fancy overcoat. After the moving was over, Sergi sent for him. Well, I'm happy that my words have taken effect, he said, handling my ruble hairs of pains. I see you I see you were sober and have no objection to work. What's your name? Lashkov. Well, Lashkov, I can now offer you some other cleaner employment. Can you write? I can. Then take this letter to a friend of mine tomorrow and you will be given some copying to do. Work hard, don't drink, and remember what I have said to you. Goodbye. Pleased and having put a man on the right path, Sir tapped Lashkov kindly on the shoulder and even gave him his hand at parting. Rashkov took the letter and from that day forth came no more to the yard for work. तो अब आगे आप देखेंगे इसमें पढ़ेंगे कि जो लश्कॉफ है वो एक सिनेमा के टिकट वाले में काम करने लग जाता है और उस दिन के बाद से उसका सरजी के फ्रेंड का लेटर लेने के बाद से वो सरजी के घर दोबारा नहीं आता। एक सेकंड रुकिए। चलिए अब शुरू करते हैं। 2 years went by. Then one evening, as Sergei was standing at the ticket window of the theatre paying for his seat, he noticed a little man beside him with a coat collar of curly fur and a worn sealskin cap. This little individual timidly asked the ticket seller for a seat in the gallery and paid for it in the copper coins. Lashkov, is that you? Cried Sergei, recognizing in the little man his former woodchopper. How are you? What are you doing? How is everything with you? All right, I'm not notary now, and I'm paid 35 rubles a month. Thank heaven. That's fine. I'm delighted for your sake. I am very, very glad, Lashkov. You see, you are my godson. In a sense, I gave you a push along the right path. You know, do you remember what a roasting I gave you? Eh, I nearly had you sinking into the ground at my feet that day. Thank you, old man, for not forgetting my words. Thank you too, said Lashkov. If I hadn't come to you, then might still have been calling myself a teacher or a student to this day. Just by flying to your protection, I dragged myself out of a pit. I am very glad indeed. Thank you for your kind words and deeds. I am very grateful to you and to your cook. God bless that good and noble woman. You spoke finely, then I shall be indebted to you to my drawing day. But strictly speaking, it was a cook Olga who saved me. तो जो लश्काफ है वो सदी से बोलते हैं कि मेरी जो जिंदगी चेंज हुई है ऐसे चेंज नहीं हुई और ओल्गा ने मेरी जिंदगी चेंज की है। तो जो सरजी वो कहता है वो कैसे? तो जो लश्काफ वो कहता है When I used to come to your house to chop wood, she used to begin, "Oh, you sot, you! Oh, you miserable creature! There's nothing for you but ruin." And then she would sit down opposite me and grow sad and look into my face and weep. Oh, you unlucky man, there is no pleasure for you in this world, and there will be none in the world to come. You drunkard, you will burn in hell. Oh, you unhappy one. And so she would carry on, in that strain. I can't tell you how much misery she suffered, how many tears she shed on my sake. But the cheap thing was, she used to chop the wood for me. Do you know, sir, that I did not chop one single stick of wood for you? She did it all. Why, this saved me. Why I changed, why I stopped drinking. At the sight of her, I cannot explain. I only know that owing to her words and noble deeds, a change took place in my heart. She set me right, and I shall never forget it. However, it is time to go now. There goes the bell. Lashka bowed and departed to the gallery. तो आपने देखा कि एंड में लश्का की जिंदगी कैसे चेंज हो गई, कहाँ वो ड्रंकन मैन से पुअर मैन से वो कहा एक नोटरी की उसको जॉब मिल गई और वो इतना बढ़िया 35 रूबल सब मंथ कमा रहा है। आपने देखा कितना अच्छा लगा, कैसी उसकी जिंदगी चेंज हुई। अब आइए कुछ ग्रोसरी में वर्ड मीनिंग्स देख लेते हैं। कोपेक का मतलब है रशियन कॉइन इक्वल टू 100 ऑफ अ रूबल। Calumny का मतलब है the making of false and defamatory statements about someone in order to damage his her reputation. Suppliant का मतलब है person making a humble plea to someone in power or authority. Mendicant का मतलब है beggar. Swindling का मतलब है cheating a person or money. Perplexity का मतलब है state of being puzzled. Irresolutely का मतलब है hesitantly. बिल्लेट का मतलब है a thick piece of wood. वाइफ का मतलब है a homeless person. shovel का मतलब है remove snow with a shovel. roasting का मतलब है an informal or humorous word. scolding. sort का मतलब है a habitual drunkard. दोस्तों हमारे चैप्टर यही खत्म होता है। 6 क्वेश्चंस जो है ये आपको स्कूल में आपके जरूर कराए गए होंगे और ये इम्पोर्टेंट होते हैं। इसके अलावा अगर आप चाहते हैं तो इस चैप्टर के 2 असाइनमेंट हमारे पास हैं, अगर आप चाहें तो कर सकते हैं। आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में लिंक मिल जाएगा और कैसे लेना है ये सब आपको मिल जाएगा और उसके भी कॉस्ट होते हैं, लेकिन मतलब आप अगर चाहें तो आप ले सकते हैं उसको। और इसके अलग से नोट्स भी होते हैं, तो मतलब हमारे पास बहुत सारा स्टडी मटेरियल है हर चैप्टर के लिए। अगर आप चाहें तो आप ले सकते हैं, हमारे डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स रेफर कीजिए हम पर वो लेने के लिए। और थैंक यू फ्रेंड्स फॉर वाचिंग माय वीडियो। टिल देन स्टे सेफ एंड अभी हमारा एक स्नेक ट्राइंग वाला वीडियो रह गया, बस वो वीडियो आ रहे हैं, जल्दी आएगा वो वीडियो। टिल देन स्टे सेफ एंड हेल्दी। थैंक्स।